Seb, very nice to have you here to make this happen. I have a lot of questions I want to ask you.
Say happy to be here. Man.
Very cool. What's one of the first good memories that you have with music?
Well, back in the days, it was mostly hip hop that I was listening to. So one funny one is that I remember going to bed listening to 2001. You know the Dr. Dre, 2001.
No.
Yeah, you know it's the album with
Okay,
the
yes.
next
Yeah,
episode,
yeah.
Still Dre, big one. Every night I was sleeping,
Wow.
falling asleep to this kind of now that I understand the lyrics,
Yeah.
kind of aggressive
Yeah.
music. Yeah, that's a funny one. Then
Was there a specific track that you remember from that album?
no, I mean I liked a lot of them, but there was one that I understood after when I started to understand English. That was I don't know, kind of weird with sex noises and stuff, and I think I don't know. I don't really like it anymore, but so it's not special in the way you ask, but you know, I guess it's special.
Yeah, because at that time for you was meaningful. Like brought
Yeah,
you.
it was, you know, when you're young and you're full of things you don't understand, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it spoke to these. Yeah.
Was that, if there is any, was there a particular track, album, genre that led you to start making your own music?
I think, yeah, when I was getting a bit older, I started listening to more electronics, and in France back in the days, it was like the big, headbanger, beginnings of headbanger and stuff. So, I mean, of course, like the legends like Daft Punk and stuff, I always listened a lot, albums, all of the albums, but yeah, then I remember like being a big fan of Justice, the first album.
Wow, yeah.
Which is actually, now in retrospect, a lot of the music I loved, that is French, was also very, very heavily sample based. So that's, I don't know, I'm seeing a bit of connection because I also really loved hip hop for that. So, and Justice and Daft Punk worked in similar ways in terms of sampling. So yeah, I would say maybe artists from this label, but like, yeah, then I evolved very rapidly to listening to more techno stuff. And
Yeah, because I mean, when I think about your music, it's definitely there's a lot of samples, and you spoke about that to me a few times. Even in the Almost Sound Masterclass, you spoke about sampling and how that is the base of a lot of your music. And did you ever make a clear connection to what you were listening, your hip hop influence, to the music you make today?
Well, I think it's all subconsciously that it happened. It's just also the stuff that some artists that I really loved in techno are also kind of used the same techniques, which were like micro sampling and sampling in general. So I could say like one stuff that shocked me, like for example, some Mobb Deep tunes how they were made, the process is the same that shocked me. When I say shocked me, it's in a good way, you know, like really impressed me in a Regis track, or you know. So it's just the fact of transforming, completely changing the purpose, because you have sampling, you know, which is a full phrase, which I rarely do because also now copyrights and you're fucked. And there is like very highly transformative sampling, which is for me like where the art is, and also micro sampling, which is also very So I guess it's more like influenced by music concrete and stuff, but I didn't know it at the time. I got to learn it later.
Yeah, you connected it.
Yeah. Then I discovered.
And so, for example, when you look at what inspires you now, do you listen to a track or something in your real life, and then you start imagining a track of yours, or how does your creative process work?
When I hear a track that could be a sample, you mean?
Yeah, for example, yes.
Well, these days I just try. I sample a bit less, because at some point when you do, you need to change just to get into it again at some point for sure. But or I sample more stuff I record myself. But I think you develop an ear for like small loops that you hear. Like, I don't know, you listen to a track, suddenly you hear the track real time, right? And suddenly your brain is like, oh, if I loop that, it's probably gonna be great, you know? Or this loop, you kind of hear it, but also sometimes you after doing it for a long time, you just think subconsciously, okay, this track has the tone or like the texture that I like, a certain way it sounds, right? Like the textures. And if I pitch it down, it's gonna do something great. Or if I change it the way I usually change it, it's gonna do something great. Just because you recognize that there are certain transients, the way it sounds, if it's more the way it's mixed. You know?
Yeah. So you think about how, if you were to sample it, how you would transform it, and then you think, okay, that maybe inspires you.
Yeah, but now these days I try to only kind of do it if I hear something, how do you say, concrete that I could manipulate, because sometimes back in the days then anything could be a sample, which leads to a lot of time spent that don't really amount to a result, because, you know, you touch the thing so much that it doesn't work, or like even the sample is good but you don't make it fit, because that's another thing of using a lot of samples that are like full kind of loops.
Yeah.
It's full of frequencies, so you need to do extra work in the mix, and it's very difficult compared to having very clear separated elements when you make a techno tune. Like, I have my electronic kick, my bass line, which is a synth, my hi-hats that are come from these samples or this VST. It's all very concrete, and you have a lot of controls for them.
Yeah.
But when you sample stuff full of things already, you have much less control, so it's a bit that's the hard part, I guess. Now I'm trying to do a bit of both and keep control a bit more, because then the mix is actually very hard to make.
The mix is definitely harder when you have the full spectrum, perhaps, from
it is. Now we have nice tools now to help, but it's another topic, the type of mix, you know, you want. And
how do you think about your music, for example? Do you try to create a vibe with the tracks you make in this moment of your creative path? You imagine a vibe, you imagine, for example, that track to be played by someone, or to be played in a specific club, in a specific context, or it changes a lot, it varies a lot?
Well, it definitely has changed a lot over the years. But I don't know if it changed in a good way, to be honest. But I used to just not care about any of this. I had like a vision somehow, and I was just having fun for myself. And I think I've made interesting kind of art in a way, but like it's not the tracks that got most played, because it's a bit too, the mix is not always the best, or it sounds a bit weird, or I don't know. Which is it's okay for me. But now I changed that in a way that I kind of want to make tracks that I play and that are more easy to play.
Yeah.
And so this change is taking me a lot of energy, and I need to relearn how to do some things, to limit myself. So nowadays, I don't know, I still do music, make music that feels good. I try to not attach myself to it so much, and to just make whatever comes. And but it's difficult. It's a bit difficult to
figure, like, you mean it's difficult for you to find something that works in terms of process?
It's difficult to find something that works and that is special to me, because if I can kind of replicate quite, I don't want to say easily, but like quite fast, some type of tracks that I also like when they are not made by me. But at some point, is that my goal, you know, to just make as much music as possible? Or I don't know, I try to find an in-between, you know, to actually learn from those tracks, because they are very well made, and they work very well in the clubs and in a set. They are super easy to play, and I try to learn that, but keep the concepts I have, which were always about, I don't know. For me, I always had fun making a little concept for EPs, you know,
Yeah.
something extra that it's for me, you know, it just pushes me to dig deeper in the concept, and then I'm more creative.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try, now I'm in the process of trying to do that, so marrying both, which is a bit,
Yeah, it takes time.
It takes time because technically I need, it's like I'm a bit more conscious of how I want it to sound, and it's like, I know it's the, you know, the road to perfectionism and blah, 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 and it's not necessarily good for the art, but I don't know. In my case, when I've been making music for that long, and you know, I'm not in a rush. Like I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just learning new ways, and it's gonna take time, and at some point I'm gonna do it. And yeah.
How long have you been producing for?
Since I was 18, I think, something like this, 17. So I'm 33. So yeah, 15, 16 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Still suck at it.
Do you feel like it? Okay, so 2 questions from that. Are you happy with what comes out of you? Does that feel authentic to you and good?
I feel, I mean, yeah, I feel like I have something to say. It's just, it's very frustrating that after 16 years, that, you know, you would think after that much time, you know how to make the music you want to make. Well, in my case, it's like, because also you change, right? Your sensitivity change, and what you want to do changes, and yeah, it's just, sometimes it's frustrating to put that many hours and so many sacrifices, and you don't get what the results you want, but it's all very subjective, so maybe it's very good to someone else, but so that's why, you know, in theory you should just release the stuff. And so I think I'm happy that I still have, when I'm in the creative process, I still have the drive and the vision, but it's in finishing things that I'm still, I didn't used to have that. It's very since the last years that but I think it comes from being more aware that I very easily get I go overboard a bit, you know, with how many stuff I put in the tracks. I'm trying to just like think of it as like to polish the how do you say, the precious stone, you know?
With the thing that really matters.
To keep only the things that are good for the track and make them as as big as they can get, or like the best they can be in the track, basically, and not putting more things out of pure excitement and insecurity, you know. I think we've all done that at some point.
Yes. For sure. I think producers, like any musicians, in the end, like insecurity drives a lot of this. I need to add more. So we sometimes think, oh, if I add another element, it's gonna make it better. It's gonna make it better for that reason. But sometimes it's just, we need to be able to understand it's enough.
I don't know what it is. I mean, we should be probably aware that, you know, making music is rewarding. So it's the same for, I mean, you know, the dopamine and stuff. So maybe the track is good enough, but you want another hit, you know, like, but one more, you know, it was so nice to make it good enough. Now I want more. But then I try to think, does it sound like a track, or does it sound like a mix, you know, like, is it how the bump of energy, is it one I would get if I would mix it with something else in a mix, in a DJ mix? In that case, I don't put it, you know. Or does it like energy like that, and really I need to elevate it without it being too busy, but I try to think like this in a mix. Because an empty track in a mix, it's kind of nice in a way that you can layer, and
it's useful. It's functional for, if you're mixing techno, it's probably functional because you play with 2-3 tracks. Most DJs do at least. And what ways can you figure out what's enough in a track? Do you produce, then let the track sit, re-listen to it with fresh ears, you send it to someone else, you compare it with other tracks, you listen to it in different speakers.
All of these. All of these, and I simply, I mean, I try. I'm not. I don't feel like I'm succeeding yet. That's why I'm now taking ages to release, because I have to deconstruct a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because I would add so much stuff before and struggle so much to mix it, and mix it quite okay.
Yeah.
But maybe it was much better to keep half the stuff. So I try to basically reduce it to, okay, I have that many elements, now I mute this one, how do I feel? Is it bringing anything or not to my feelings, you know? Is it making everything else too busy or not? And I do that with most elements. For one of my biggest problems, all of that developed over the years, because I started, like, in Ableton was much harder to handle this, you know. In hardware, I had limitations.
Yeah, like mixer is usually a very big limitation, right? You have 8 channels, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also you don't have you can't have, I don't know, like compressors on every, you know, like to do side chains, and you can have a bit, but like, you don't have as many tools to save you, so you have to make better decisions. But so, for example, I always used to put too many layers for the bass. And now I'm like, okay, this layer that adds a little bit of weight, can I just mute it and maybe add 2 dBs at 100 hertz in the other layer, you know, and maybe I'm going to have the same feeling. And it's going to be much more easy to...
Yeah.
Because that's the main thing, is to make it more intelligible, you know, more... Yeah, you know, easy to understand the tracks and the emotions. And... Yeah, I think reducing is definitely but I think this happens to every person making music ever.
Yeah, for sure.
This problem of having too many.
Yeah. Walk me through your production process. So, for example, do you tend to have a routine? Every week you sit down in studio for hours on a specific day, or it's more free?
I should have a routine.
You don't. Yeah, you just go.
It depends. It depends the period. To be honest, sometimes I'm more self-disciplined, and sometimes the whole thing takes over. I think we have known that, where you're so much into it, or you know, it's like, how do you say, circumstances. You know, like if for 1 week it's raining and nobody's doing anything, and I'm gonna still, of course, do what I need to maintain myself, but I'm gonna tend to work more, you know, because maybe too much.
Yeah.
But then I don't like that. I'm trying to change that, because it's not very healthy. But I've done that for so long.
Yeah. Do you lock yourself in the studio? You just work?
Yeah, like to put that much on work, and I don't know. I mean, it can be rewarding, but it also can be frustrating again, and it takes a big place in your life, you know. So you need to to
find something else that also like it's useful, like social connections, sport or going out, and it's also important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So thankfully I do that, but I used to not do it, and I mean now to not do it as much, especially during COVID and stuff, where you just realize how important it is to move yourself. You know?
So much, to meet people too, like, you know,
also for your art, right?
Yeah. I'll ask you more about inspiration, but to stay with the production process. So let's say it's Tuesday, you are in the studio. Is your studio at home where you live, or
at home?
So would you try to do a long session or a short session, pause, short session?
It depends what I have. If I have deadlines, things to do, basically. But usually I try to do a bit in the morning. The morning I feel like it's some of the best time to have to make critical decisions for me, because I don't know, you're not. It's like the bullshit cloud is not here yet, you know.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, yeah, that wasn't good, and then the more you, then you have lunch, then the afternoon it's like the cloud is there. It's harder to judge, especially if you work on the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible. But so now the morning I try to do as much, and the afternoon I try to do something different, either creative or another track or not music. Honestly, nowadays I think I should probably limit myself to the morning, in terms of at least the less fun part of making music, which is, you know, arranging. I mean, for me it's arranging and mixing. It can be fun.
Yeah.
But it's very critical. You listen a lot to the same thing, and
You need to make decisions with a clear mind, without.
yeah. So that's, for me, that's morning.
Very
and
important.
night is more like creative, you know, like
You can go in any direction. You just like need to.
you're just too tired to think, you know, too tired to have the doubt.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I think I started considering is that, you know, if you play an extended DJ set, for example, at some point, your brain goes into instinct mode.
Yeah.
Like you're too tired to exercise some part of your brain to really think about every decision. You're just like, feels good, I do it, you know. And that can be applied, I think, also in production when you are extremely tired, that you're almost like you're about to sleep, but you kind of bypass the part of the brain that makes that overthinks in a way.
Yeah.
That stops you. Does that happen to you too, as well?
Well, yeah, I think for like producing, like to make music, I think this is great. To make mixing decisions and stuff, I feel like I need to be fresh and to understand what's wrong and stuff, you know. But yeah, of course, like, I don't know, I guess we've all made music when it's a bit late at night, you don't know what the fuck is happening, you know, you're like, feels good, I think a lot of good things happen. And I mean, I think it's important to have that in your process at some point, for sure, like the flow state and not thinking and stuff. And I think hardware is probably, in my case, better for that. Not for sound or whatever, it's really just for me it's easier to get into that state when you are just in the sound, not looking at the screen. But different people, different also it changes, you know.
Changes with time too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And one thing that I read about you in one of the previous interviews, that you started, when you started making music, you were thinking about new wave music. It was inspiring for you. You tried for a little bit to do it.
Yeah.
But you also said that it wasn't really feeling you. Can you tell me more about that? And also, the other question is that, does the music you make now feels really you?
Philosophy. Yeah, new wave. I guess I'm still kind of doing new wave. I mean, I have a project, or kind of two projects that are kind of. I don't even know what we call new wave if we talk about the Human League, or more like dark stuff. I was always more into dark stuff. But I guess singing in the way I did back then was not me, I guess, because it didn't feel natural. Because I guess I'm more introverted, and I don't know. I'm more into, if I do it myself, I guess I would more like do spoken words than pure singing.
Samples.
Yeah, or samples. But in one project that I released kind of quite recently, I kind of do vocals, but in a way that maybe was a bit more me. I don't know. It felt more easy to do, like, because I was kind of taking the piss, so you know, it makes everything easier than to be seriously, I don't know, in some cold wave, or the way you sing, it can be very serious and dramatic,
intense and dramatic,
intense and dark.
Yeah,
and that wasn't really me. So, what is really you? Yeah, that's it's a good one, I think.
if you have figured out.
Well, you have to know who you are first, which is not a constant.
Yeah.
You know, it changes a lot. So I guess what feels good, that's not dependent on others, you know, like just what feels good to you. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it's a bit, I feel like it's not always valued. I don't know, it doesn't feel as valued as it used to be, but maybe that's just me, you know, doing your,
Mm-hmm.
being your own, person, doing your weird stuff. I feel like stuff is a bit more generic and like more like recipes nowadays. So that's my only rant that I would have. But there are still very good tracks and very good artists. So, but yeah, it's still quite controlled from what I hear. I don't know. Maybe I don't look enough.
Do you mean that we're seemingly going toward like different people are making more and more similar music instead of going to different directions?
Or let's say people that can make a living out of it. In techno, I don't know. I don't hear crazy new things. I hear very well executed things,
Right.
and I think they completely deserve to be, you know, where they are. It's not. But I think it's less experimental. All experimental is, We come from a, you know, I mean, like when I kind of started getting to techno, it was maybe 2009, 2008, which was the more minimal, but you know now it's minimal.
Yeah.
Like you know,
Minimal tech.
good tone stuff, and which was more sound design and more. It felt more experimental and more original back then. I don't know, but now it feels like we have so many different things. But like, I don't know. I think we still have we can. I think there are still good things to be done. For sure.
For sure.
I just maybe I haven't listened hard enough or it's not what's brought up to my attention by promos and by what's being promoted and what's being put in front. I mean, I hear incredible stuff, but nothing that, I don't know, really shock. You know, I don't know what.
There is a diverging direction. It feels fresh and new. You don't really find that. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I don't really find it as fresh as I used to find new music back then. But maybe also I'm getting older, you know.
Yeah, listened to a lot.
No, but also there's that we have to see every angle there, you know. Maybe you can't be. I mean, excitement. It's normal to go through phases after.
For sure.
15 years, you know, you can't feel the same way you did 15 years ago So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And was there, so throughout your path, like you've been releasing also a lot, like on your label, on Mord, on other labels as well.
Yeah.
Was there any track that at some point you thought, this track isn't good, but then it turned out to be a success? I mean,
you mean like Miction?
Miction, exactly. I was gonna say that's.
I didn't think Miction wasn't good though. But for me, it was all. I used to have such a detached, attitude towards the music because I was making tons of it, like tons. Every day I was in the studio recording, you know, like live jams. Like Miction is a live jam. And then I had edited a bit. So I wasn't attached so much, and I think it was Bass that picked it, but as a digital only track because he didn't see it on the vinyl. And I didn't think it wasn't good. I just thought it's maybe the only track where there is a bit of a more naive melody like this that I've made. And then to see it blow up like this, still today people playing it, I mean. Yeah, I mean, for me, it just shows how when you make the emotion intelligible, how you can touch more people, you know. It's a proof of that because it's a bit more naive, a bit more, kind of clear intention and emotion in that track. That I had, I'm not denying it. It's part of me, you know, but. Yeah, I think it's a good example. But
Hmm.
I've never thought like, okay, that works. I need to make this my trademark, because I've never had that relationship to music. For me, it was always, I don't know. It, success kind of happened to me. I mean, I provoked it, of course, but I guess I never was like career oriented at all.
Hmm.
I was always
Yeah.
thinking about the art and to make something cool.
Yeah. In yeah, in a way, I think, who knows if you before Mixtion, if you were trying to make a hit, who knows if you would have managed it? Because when you try to make something that you want other people to like, either you go for something that's been done before, you copy it,
Mm.
or you can never. You're second guessing what people would like or not. So we will never know until the track is out, and then people actually like it, and then you can say, maybe they like it because of this reason.
Mm.
Do you think it's an accident, or you can really?
Well, Miction is an accident, for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. I also, again, you
Definitely.
did the music, right? So credit to you, beautiful track, you made it. But again, like it's hard before you released it to know, oh fuck, a lot of people will play it in 10 years.
Yeah, no, impossible to know, and
Impossible.
impossible. Well, it's so subjective, and I think it was the right time. Also,
Yeah.
there are a lot of things that. But I think what we should remember from that is just that I've never followed. I've never, even once thought about
Yeah, yeah.
what people want to hear.
Right.
I was just following a feeling, and that happened to be Miction that day, and then that's it. I think that's what I'm trying to go back to, because when you make music for so long, you probably had the same experience where you start on instinct, then you go up your head. I think more and more. I want this, I want that, I want this. And now you're in your head, right? I used to be in my body,
Yeah.
making the music. Then you're in your head, which you can have good results also. It's not necessarily all bad. Maybe a bit more ego driven, like, this, I want this like this. And now I'm trying to have both. But I think it's a good lesson for Miction. It's just never forget the instinct based that's in you, and doesn't have to do with so much with thinking consciously. It's just being in a certain mood. So
Yeah. For example, what is the drawback that came from having a very successful track that everybody's playing? I imagine did that create expectations in your head? Oh, I need to maybe create another hit, or I need to make another track that is like this, for example.
somehow I completely I didn't really have that so much, which is weird actually. Now I have it. Thank you. No, I don't know. I kind of changed my sound, like after that, maybe I wanted to do something different, and that allowed me to do it, and I did it fully, I think, with my label, which is completely different sounds and less accessible actually. So it looks like I've gone completely the other way, where people would be like, oh, that works. I want more of what works. I was like, I used that to actually make stuff that is less accessible. Not that it's the good decision. I'm just, looking back, that's what I did, and no regrets. And now I think I want to do both. I want to do something that's a bit in between, that people, that's maybe more easy to understand.
Yeah.
And that I like to make, and that people play. So that's why it takes me ages now.
Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, it's you go in phases where I love inspiration or a connection with music, and you launch also the Eke. I think you alluded to before. Like, do you define that new wave? Do your project the Eke?
I don't know what it is. It's just I just had a lot of fun doing it. It was like so I kind of sing in that, or I speak, but I don't know what it is. It's wavy for sure, but like a bit. It could be a track could be dark disco somehow.
Yeah.
Another track could be a bit more. I don't know. I was listening a lot of no wave, so not new wave, but no wave, which is very, very hard music to listen to. Like I'm kind of done with that phase. I still really like it, but it's like a very short music movement that was in New York in the 80s or end of 70s, I think, which is very noisy, guitar playing, no sense at all. I like things that don't make sense.
Okay,
you know?
interesting. So no sense meaning no structure.
Yeah. Although I realize that I make very structured music, so which is weird. But I like the concepts and the aesthetic of it. The fact that. So maybe I like the chaos in the structure, basically.
Yeah, like organized chaos.
Yeah,
or,
maybe.
Yeah, or chaotic structure.
Chaotic structure.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe the Echo was just so fun to do. Just I didn't make it to be released, and then I showed it to Michael Ancient Methods, and he loved it, and so I was so happy to do it. The record is so beautiful. And I done the artwork too. So
very cool. Persephonic Silence, right?
Yeah.
On his label.
Yeah.
Super
So
cool.
that's the thing. I think that's also what's important for me, and that's a bit hard sometimes, that I like to make objects, I like to make kind of an art thing. And we live now in a time where it's like people release 20,000 tracks per second.
Yeah.
And there is something good about it that I would like to also get back into making a lot, and it's not that important, blah, blah. But also, I also really like the concept. It makes me, more inspired to have concepts. But I feel like nobody cares really.
Yeah.
A little bit. You do your concept, it's good for you, but somehow without the concept, it's hard for me to create. For me, it's what makes it also worth it.
Interesting, yeah.
To
Worth
me,
it.
at least.
Maybe also, it could also be because you give itself more attention, more time, and then it's really a project. It's not just like you take a track, you put it on Spotify, that's it.
Yeah, but now there is a sea of tracks, so it feels like you do all of that. And again, I know you do it for yourself, all of that, but even if you do it for yourself, you kind of want a bit of, that it's there.
Yes. Yeah.
But if you don't play the game of like, it's super hard to be present, or you have to really, I don't know, I don't know if it used to be like that. I think it's getting worse, because I think we don't realize, or maybe we do, but I just realized that it's everything that's happening every day is very new, right? Like tomorrow there's going to be more tracks ever released than today, right?
For sure. Yeah.
But it's kind of going exponentially, and I don't know, I think I receive probably 10 promos per day, or at least I used to receive quite a lot, but on Thursdays, Fridays for the weekend, and it was kind of, but now it's like the amount of new music, and it's great, but at the same time I think we are facing new challenges, which is there's so much music that how do you, I think quality still get picked up, I hope.
Yeah.
But it's a bit difficult depending which style of techno and stuff. It's difficult to exist. It feels like this. I don't know if it's true.
Because it's saturated, like as you said.
Exactly.
Like you have a lot of music, a lot of promos going out, a lot of releases on Beatport, Bandcamp. How do you find new tracks that are good on Bandcamp? You can't, like, unless you know the label from outside.
You can, but it takes time.
Yeah, exactly. You need to dig. You go.
Yeah, and Bandcamp is not exactly the best user experience. In terms of the website, but it's just there's so much more, and I think there are way more people in the scene. There are way more parties. There are way more everything, because it got so popular also. That I don't know. Yeah, I lost a bit touch with the audience. The audience completely changed also. After COVID, we all saw that it changed, and the new codes and stuff. I don't know. I guess it's harder for me to get, or I don't know if people actually dig, or if they are brought stuff that they like immediately, so they kind of stay with that, you know? You know what I mean?
Like an echo chamber, like the algorithm that suggests always the same type of stuff because you like this, I suggest something that's very similar.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't discover, you don't deviate from that.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's the case, if the majority are like that, or if it's just me being a bit negative. I don't know. But what it feels like to release a record today, it's not how it used to feel to me. I don't know if it means anything, and I think I've talked with some other people that are in my case, and it's true that there is a common, a lot of people, you know, we still make records, but it's very hard to sell, or some really sell very well, but I think they are kind of in the minority depending on the techno you make. But some type of techno doesn't sell at all now, and it's difficult, you know. It used to be a bit more clear to know what you wanted to do, and now it's like you put so much into your, you know, again we said the object, and then
you have records at home. You might have
then you have them at home, or like not many people listen to it because it's flooded, or maybe people are they are just more into a certain style and they listen to mostly that. I don't know, it's a weird I think we could write a thesis on this.
For sure. Do you for example, nowadays you have your label Body Theory, right? So you release stuff from other artists. You always do record plus digital. So when you think about what actions can you take to try to get the record in front of the right people, the right audience?
Yeah, but that's also one thing, is that it's hard to have to fight for that after that long, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't have the same, I don't know, strength, or like I don't have the same hunger to survive or to prove myself. You know what I mean? When you're you're younger, you want fuck, let's go.
Yeah.
But now it's been so long, I don't want to have to like have such a put so much because I put so much energy in the rest. You know, like we have to do different jobs already. When you make music, you actually have to produce it, mix it, master it. I do the artwork. Promotion, I'm very bad at it, but that's because I don't know. I never like to put stuff. Maybe that's why also. I always like to do my thing, and it used to be enough, you know. But now I think if you don't do massive promotion, because also the few times I've actually paid for promotions, it didn't change anything, you know.
You work with agencies or?
I've worked sometimes, but I don't know. Like, it never felt like it had like very important impact on the sales or on the. And also my goal was never to be in everybody's face, you know, but it doesn't mean I don't want to not exist, you know. I used to be in a certain spot where it was in between, you know. It wasn't in the face, but and now it feels a bit different. But I mean, let's see.
The thing that for me, it's like it's worth solving when you're releasing a record or you have a label, for example, is always that you might take as people don't like this music because you don't have enough attention, right? But there might be so many variables that influence people not seeing the record. As you said, I release it and there is another 40 records released similar to me.
Yeah.
It gets put in the lowest shelf of the record store, right? And you're like, fuck, you know, people don't like it, but maybe people just never listen to it. So for me, I always like to think that there's always going to be someone who's going to get crazy for that track, for that music. And it's worth to.
No, but it's worth doing it. That's why I still do it. Although I think I'm gonna, probably drop the vinyl now because I don't. At some point, you have to face the reality. If it's to lose money, because also gigs, you know, it's not what it was in terms of how many gigs and stuff. So that makes it much harder. But if it's to lose money and have more plastic made to sit in my house or some a few people's houses.
Spread.
I don't see the point, so I think I'm gonna just do
Uh-huh.
digital from now on and vinyl on demand, something like this.
But on demand, that could be like, so you rack up order, you get to a quantity that is printable, 50, and then you
Yeah.
send it to ship.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
could be an interesting thing.
Yeah, but so people have to be willing to actually pre-order the vinyl, wait quite a long time, because then we have to produce it.
Yeah.
And this this would make more sense. But like, I don't know. I think we're gonna have to let it go at some point. For most of us, I'm not talking. Some labels really sell a lot, and actually, when I see what sells, it's mostly, I think very well produced, kind of very intelligible music. Very easy to play, and it's great. But if you want to make something a bit more artsy, I don't know. It depends, it depends the scenes. That's the thing. I'm talking in the techno scene, which was always very kind of hard to sell my stuff in the techno scene. But I know some people are more into like the, I don't know.
Straight tech, 4-4 techno.
Either this or I was thinking more industrial or EBM-ish or like the goth scene where people like buy records still a lot,
Also listeners, not just DJs, actually.
Also?
I think like in the techno, I think it's also because people who listen to music, not just people who play music, also are used to purchase music in that scene.
Yeah.
I think in techno, a lot of the people that buy are other DJs. They're not necessarily people who listen to a techno record at home, if they're not playing.
Yeah. Also, you buy a record and then it sits on the shelf, so it's true, like, and different type of music, you actually listen to it.
Yeah.
But even like LPs, some people put out LPs of techno that are more like listening LPs, and they still struggle to sell, so. But again, it's very hard to grasp what works or not, because sometimes you have one guy that's super popular is gonna sell out all the time. So it's very hard to navigate that. But all you can see is that if what I do doesn't sell, I'm not gonna keep,
Yeah, you can't.
I'm not gonna change the music. I'm gonna try to. I guess nowadays I'm trying to make it more, as I said, easy to understand. Like my concept, but I'm just not gonna keep digging a hole, making 300 records when actually, no, but it's not. But it's so much. It's something to deconstruct in a lot of people's head, that the notion of success and stuff. I say it without. I don't think I'm a failure by saying this. Like. I don't associate that, because actually everything a lot of things I liked the most were very non-commercials, like they either didn't sell a lot or were not very famous, and they influenced me a lot. So I don't know. Like,
what's your definition of success for you personally?
Paying the rent. No,
it's a lot.
Well, it's changing a lot, over the years. Definitely, it was more music oriented before, and now I would say, I've a lot of other things come into the equation. That's why I'm a bit in a transition phase now, where I'm trying to, get everything, working. Not only the music part, but that's why it's also hard, because I gave so much to this, and it's a phase where it's a bit, sometimes struggling with the schedule, and so it's hard, but it is in the artist life, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it would be applied for exactly artists, any profession in the end.
Also that's it. Also, I kind of realized I maybe a bit fantasized the fact that I would live from this forever. Like, you also have to think. And I'm very grateful for I could do it for I can still do it, and it's been 10 years now almost.
Yes. And a couple of questions on labels, but so Body Theory, I think you started 2015 or around that.
Did I? Yeah, probably 2016 or no,
16. Yeah, so
something like this.
almost 10 years ago. And
Yeah.
in 10 years of running the label, what have you learned? Like, what are the key lessons? I mean, one is probably on this thing of distribution, on reality check. Should I make vinyls? Well, sure. But what else, that might be helping you in ways that are beyond your music career, but something you learn from the label experience?
Well, it's hard to say really because
Mhm.
I was kind of very kind of narrow-minded with the label. I just see it was a lot of my releases, and I was very specific on what I liked. So what I learned, I don't know. Yeah, like no, actually, nothing. I had the gigs to support that,
Yeah.
and I think, yeah, I'm kind of, when I look back, I'm happy that I've done it like this. Now I kind of slow down. I mean, I've made a sub-label since like a year now, where I think now I'm gonna make digital on the sub-label.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't know. Like something I would change. I mean,
Or anything you learned can be how to manage distribution or to work with artists, another big thing.
well, I work mainly with myself and with close friends, so no, it was not really complicated, to be honest, to make. So
Yeah.
if you want to do it, just maybe that's what I learned. Just do it, because it's not. It's good to have total freedom, but again, nowadays starting a vinyl record, doing certain type of music, I guess it's doable, but like for more experimental and stuff, I don't know. I think if you have the money to support it, it's fine. But
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
And maybe another way to look at it is also like for you release also Mord a lot of times, also Mono Black, Stur, Analog. For you working with other labels, what are things that you were, oh shit, this label owner really cares about what they're doing. I really had a good experience. What were your good experiences with other labels, and what have you learned in the process?
Well, it was always kind of friends also, asking me for tracks, like, and whether, I mean, Dax or I've met ages ago, and so that was all very natural. I actually, even Analog, that they booked me very early in Athens and stuff, so I really kept it very kind of friendly, you know, and so...
Have you ever sent demos to labels without them asking?
Well, yeah, but 10 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, Mord or...
yeah, okay. And a few others back then, but like, it's true that I haven't done it since Mord, really, because then it's more people asking me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I'm thinking, but no, every time then it was friends. So I kind of like that, actually. Yeah. It's nice to work with friends.
Some people say organically, right? It just happens naturally.
You know, it's people that get what you're doing, you know. And it was, again, never... I don't know, for me, it was never business orientated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always just, I was sending, even when they ask me track, I just send what I'm currently doing. It's very rare that I change. I mean, maybe it happened once that somebody asked me, can you change that part or make it more like this? And I did it, actually, but yeah, usually I just send. But no. I'm not sure I have much. I have more to say. I mean, more to bring on that subject, because
makes sense.
Yeah, most of my work was on Mord, right? The biggest, like,
live
a lot
as
of
well.
tracks.
Yeah,
live,
album.
the last one also.
Yeah, and you're going back to your production as a topic. A few things I wanted to ask you. So there was one thing, the Aztec Death Whistle, your secret weapon. Tell us more. What is that for people who don't know yet?
I don't. What was that? Where did I? No, I don't know. I just bought this ages ago. It's not really. It's just a whistle. I mean, if you type that on YouTube, you're gonna have some of the sound. It sounds like. I think they use that in old times to simulate, like, to scare the enemy. You know, when they would arrive and they would do that sound, and imagine, I don't know, 200 people doing that sound. It must be fucking horrific, and the enemy would be scared.
Yeah.
But I haven't used it extensively. I probably did back then, but I think it's a good nod to, using a lot of, I don't know, diverse instruments, and maybe that's the way to have more interesting sound in a way. Yeah, you rarely see it, I think, or I don't know.
Yeah, sampling is a very, as you're saying, like picking samples from different
acoustic. I mean,
I
was more thinking acoustic. I mean, earlier when we talked, it was more like, I guess, tracks, already pre-recorded stuff, and now I think we'll talk more about acoustic instruments and contact mics and weird resonant objects, and I think I think there is some of that in a lot of tracks I like, even some old Aphex and some, there was always I mean, often an element of weird I think that comes from Music Concrete, clearly. All these manipulations and stuff.
Noises and
anything is an instrument, basically.
Is there like a specific vibe that you try to capture when you, for example, I don't know, using a sample? Do you use it to convey more of the realness, or for you? I mean, I imagine, for example, if you want to do something that is more ancient, you use like ancient sounds, or instruments that were not of common use today to communicate that, or for you, it doesn't matter because you process it so much that.
You mean if I sample external instrument, like
external instruments, single sounds, external instruments?
It's not always with a clear purpose. It could be that I just fuck around, and at some point as you said, you process so much that stuff just you just go with how it feels. I'm thinking if I record an instrument with a clear purpose, usually it means that I'm going to manipulate less. And it's going to be more pure sound. And it kind of only happened a few times with guitars, probably, where I used the sound very pure of the guitar. But I mean, it's usually to be in the unknown that I do it. That I sample.
Abstract.
Just textures. I think that's very, that defines a lot of my influences, which is sometimes very simple sounding stuff, but it's actually the right textures, and it feels, the textures convey a feeling that's not in the melody, not in the notes, just pure textures. So a track could be one very good snare, basically. If it's insane snare,
Wow.
I think, we've seen that a lot, I think, with, the wave of more, I guess, back in the days, which were, maybe 2017, when the more industrial kind of sounds, what we call industrial, because,
the new industrial.
I had another, I guess the new industrial, where people started sampling a lot of weird percussions, and I think we had that in a very controlled way, right? But still we had that, which was interesting.
It's interesting for me to see like trends of music, like you mentioned before, the minimal, going from the minimal house, minimal techno, to what became what techno we have today. Now we went through a moment of like super hard, super fast techno, which I think still goes right now as a trend. But there's a re-emerging trend of the groovy techno, the more darker, subtle stuff. What do you think is next in terms of like music trends?
Salsa, probably.
Salsa. Travel techno again? Or how do you used to call these things? Like,
I don't know. I have no idea because there is a whole different topic about that, and that's attention span.
yeah.
And I don't know how much this has an influence on the trends. I clearly, I don't know, like we should study it. Probably it has quite a big one. But because I listened to old tracks back from 2008 or like the more minimal, and I love them to listen to them. But I would think in a set, it would be, or maybe it's just my perception. I'm sure it's just my perception that changed, and it feels like people that want like the techno now, they want very stimulating tracks. You know, like always a lot of stuff happening. And I don't know if it's a question of attention span or just if we reached, maybe we got better in the way of understanding, you know, the DJ mixes and how to maintain energy. I don't know if it's that, or so I don't know if we can go back to minimal the way it was, you know, not the same way, but like because we talk a lot about the loop. A lot of people talk about it's all a cycle, and back in the 90s it got harder than minimal. But now there's the whole attention span and TikTok's phenomena to take into account, and I don't know if people would have the patience
to go back to slow. You mean to slow?
I mean, yeah, to slow and to, I mean, to slow. I'm sure because I don't know, like there is a big scene for deep techno, and it's slower, and but this deep techno also got better in terms of keeping the listener engaged. I think in the way that the tracks sound and. But so I don't know. Let's see. I guess what's the next trend. But
did you ever feel in these past 15 years that the music that was trending at some point was too different from what you felt making?
Yeah, most of the time.
I mean, it's lifestyle.
I don't think. I mean, except like at the beginning, I was more making, 90s. I don't know. Kind of loopy techno. I think then I was in sync with what was happening. That's why it works. Also, I got success probably a bit at the time. Then I kind of shifted towards what I call industrial music, techno, which is more like the groovy, harder UK techno. And this was always kind of around, but it was never. But I think it was never, the big thing.
Yeah.
It was always around, floating, and influencing a lot of other, techno genres. But so forever. I don't know. I've never been. Yeah, I've played some stuff that got more trendy, or when it was more this trend or this trend, I would find tracks that talk to me and that I could play and that would more in the trends, because also I like to play and stuff and adapt a bit to what people want to hear, but doing it my way. But in terms of productions, it never occurred to me to make something because this is trendy or this. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't do it. I think I would work at McDonald's.
Yeah. Do something else completely different than fuck it.
Yeah, maybe not McDonald's, but
something healthier.
Something more related to sound. Yeah. But I would definitely. Yeah, I can never do it. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Or should I? No. You don't want. I'm gonna make terrible EDM.
Imagine.
Terrible.
A lot of samples.
No drops.
No drops. A lot of samples.
Yeah.
And have you ever felt stuck? Inspiration, like your inspiration is just not there. You're struggling to make music, and if so, like how do you deal with that normally?
I deal with that every single day, Joseph. Every single day.
I think we spoke about it briefly before.
But it's not necessarily about, in my case, about not being inspired. It's about what we talked earlier about, you know, you put all this attention and then I don't know, you feel like it's not being listened by anyone, which is, it's hard to, you know, to feel that. It's a bit, I know it's not completely, you know, 100% true what I say, but sometimes it feels like this.
Yeah.
And if it feels like this, it is true to some extent to me. So that's more of that. That's like, what's the point if it's to release in a sea of music that nobody will, you know, that's more, I'm dealing with that sort of.
Right.
And what's the answer to that? It's probably, yeah, you know, we all know don't want to say the bullshit answer. It is true, but it's sometimes hard to integrate when you actually live from music. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know? When you live and depend on gigs, do it for yourself, enjoy the process. I do all of this. But at some point, it's hard and it's frustrating when you invested so much of your time, a lot of compromises in your life. Yeah, and I think there's a bit of a crisis that we all have, you know, towards our age. You see that people that didn't invest all of their time being in a on an octo track, they start having kids, and also some people doing what we do also have kids. I don't say, but in my case, I've made a lot of compromises, and that's altogether is frustrating and kind of blocks me sometimes from releasing. But yeah, mostly it's the fact that as I said earlier, I'm changing a bit my my vision, and I want it to be a certain way. And the more you know how it could be, it's difficult. The more you want it to be that way, and you don't want to release something that's half-baked.
Yeah.
So it's.
Yeah. Do you ever think you wish you have known something before? So if you could go back to Sebastian in 2012 when you started making music, what would you tell yourself then?
Study something else. No, I'm kidding.
McDonald's.
Work at McDonald's. You could be manager in 10 years. No, what would I say? I would say it is not about the gear, of course. I used to get attached to the gear a lot. It is not about the gear, but if the gear makes you do more things, it is about the gear.
Okay.
In a way that if the gear inspires you, it's great. But you don't need any gear, and just need to know, you need to get inspired and to know what you want to do, probably. This is one. Then, I don't know, it's difficult. Because, you know, probably one part of me would say, don't get too attached to the music. It's only music. Be easy on yourself, all this stuff. At the same time, I think sometimes we have interesting music because people get obsessed and unhealthily obsessed with making music and with their vision. And I think it makes great art. I just think, it's not sustainable in the long run. So difficult, a mix of all that.
I have a few more rapid questions. We're gonna go through them fast.
Shoot.
Let's go. So, okay, you mentioned that the quality of production of music that is coming out now is very high, and sometimes that makes you feel competitive as well. How do you stay motivated to make new music? Do you look at other artists and be like, I want to also experiment with this thing or this other thing? Or do you go to clubs, you get inspiration from somewhere else, and then you make music in the studio more energized?
All of that. For me, it's mostly the mixes, the way things sound. That I think now I know a bit more how I want it to sound. And I think it's because I've heard some tunes that sound incredible, and I'm more and more aware of how I could achieve that. And how, again, if you want to reduce the number of tracks you have in your songs, you need to be able to mix it mix them big, right? It should be in theory more easy.
Yeah, but it's
to
not.
do.
Yeah. It's like the Daft Punk
But-
example, Daft Punk,
Yeah, 5 elements.
5 elements, and they, bam,
Exactly. But for that, every element has to be, all the choices have to be right.
Yeah. Easier said than done.
Yeah, it's harder in a way, or
Yeah.
it's equally hard at least. But so yeah, it makes me more competitive in a way that I just want my stuff to sound as good at least.
Yeah.
And for that, then I need to cut down the number of tracks. So it's probably healthy
Yeah.
at least.
It's
Yeah.
a forcing mechanism to be able to say, okay, I need to cut down instead of add when it's not working. Yeah. Do you know what drives you in life, broadly speaking?
It's a hard one, man. What drives me? Well, still music is still, I'm trying to have more balance in my life. So I would say a bit of, everything. My friends, sport, music, art in general. I try to, get all of that. Movies, people in general.
Yeah.
Trying to be more open to that. I used to be very introverted and in my world, and now I'm trying to be more open. Yeah. So I guess, but the drive is it's a difficult term.
Yeah.
Because when we are when we are overdriven, we saturate.
Yeah.
No, but when we are overdriven, you know how it gets. We get very. At least I get. I guess if you make music passionately, you probably experience that where you go a bit overboard. You make too much music. You're overly excited. You're very high somehow, and then you experience a wave of downer.
Boom.
So
Crash.
We try to stay a bit in the upper mids.
Yeah.
We call them.
Yeah. Upper mids. With a filter.
I'm full of energy.
EQ.
If you want. Exactly. I'm full of very shit dad jokes with audio.
We'll do.
You have to put a limiter on your
With
drive.
jokes. Yeah. On your drive.
Stereo. I'm very sorry, but actually I'm gonna write a book with full of these jokes.
Just jokes, please. I'm happy to review it if you ever need one.
Audio engineering. Yeah,
Second pair of
let's
eyes.
do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna gather some audio engineering jokes from all my folks around me. I'm sure it will work actually.
But you should take pictures of you with faces like this. They are memeable. Yeah. Ta-da. If you could choose one closing track for a DJ set for the rest of your life, what track would you choose?
For a DJ set, I suck at closing tracks in my DJ sets. I never know how to do it. So I'm not going to say a techno tune, because choosing a techno tune for the rest of my life, no.
Could be any style.
It has to be something bigger than life, you know?
Yeah.
Something, I don't know, a Morricone track or something like this. Or a Swans track. I really like Swans, the band. There's a track that I always found too short, which is called Blood Section, which is probably not very good closing track, but for me it's like I could listen to it forever. So if I have to pick a closing track for the rest of my life,
Probably that one.
probably something I'm never tired of.
Yeah. So
or like I don't know, Ennio Morricone,
Yeah. So probably
one of them, you know.
any.
Yeah, the
Soundtrack.
Gold Rush.
Bam.
Come on, we end this in
Glorious ending.
with panache,
Yeah.
as we say.
And can you sing aloud one of your latest tracks, one of your productions?
So it goes like this. That's it.
I think I recognize it.
That's it. But you should hear it, man.
I know. That
Sounds big, man. It's only one kick. I told you I reduced.
one kick with a lot of overdrive and saturation.
Exactly.
Yeah, but limited.
Limited.
Yeah.
Of course.
Would you rather play in front of a large crowd of 10,000 people, strangers, you don't have time to connect with them, or 15 people but friends?
I think you know the answer.
10,000.
10,000 friends. I don't have 10,000 friends.
15 people.
15, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's awkward.
Yeah.
10,000. I
Too
think
many.
by definition for me it's awkward.
Yeah.
You know.
It's too many.
Yeah, to play pre-recorded music in front of 10,000 people, I don't know. It feels
Yeah.
weird.
It's weird.
It's elevating so much the DJ that I don't know.
Yeah.
I always like the.
They're my god. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I like the small, intimate. I like when people can forget themselves, you know,
Yeah.
in the dark
Yeah.
of yeah.
Like a
club.
small club, intimate club, or house party where people get to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And who is one DJ, producer, any type of artist that you would spend 1 week alone on a desert island with?
So that I would hate after.
No. I mean, hopefully not.
I've just spent 1 week non-stop,
Non-stop.
on a desert island with
Yeah.
someone. It's gonna be impossible.
Could be dead or alive, like your artist.
I think it would be. I don't know. I'm thinking Aphex, but I think after 1 day, it would be so weird. You know? I'm pretty sure it's such a.
It would be
introverted.
very intense.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's so interesting, and I've always loved this music so much that I guess it could be one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be intense, like for you for sure, for him too, probably. Ask
For
him a lot of
him,
questions. Can I
think he
sample
would,
you?
I think he would leave after 1 hour, not even.
I just start swimming. He would tell
Yeah,
you
or
swim.
he would have made like a boat already by now, you know. It's, okay,
I gotta go, sorry.
fuck off from here because.
What's
No, but yeah, definitely, yeah, so much music that influenced me,
yeah,
and yeah,
yeah, it would be
a
inspiring.
dream.
What's one thing or project you are very excited about for your next future?
Well, the EP I'm trying to finish for 5 years. No, I'm kidding. The EP, yeah, no, an EP. I'm not sure really. I mean, I'm excited, but because I'm struggling to finish, you know, it's not like it's excitement I keep for later. I would say, yeah. I mean, I'm playing this weekend. It's a promo. I don't know when is this actually gonna be aired.
It will take more than this
Yeah, I saw.
than
No.
tomorrow to edit it.
But so I have a gig this weekend, which is in Elze, which is nice. And
Very cool.
back to back,
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool. I have another gig in July in Berlin that I'm really looking forward to. I'm not sure
If you
if
can
I
announce.
can announce it. It's not announced, but
We can cut
Wink.
it out if it goes.
yeah, in the big house.
Amen.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm excited about this
Yeah.
because it's the type of thing that when I know I'm gonna play there, I make a note and I add stuff. It takes over time, you know.
What
stuff-
tracks you want to play, or
tracks I want to play, ideas of stuff to play together.
Yeah.
It builds up in a nice way. So yeah, and yeah, I also have a record box course that I'm making,
yeah,
and
of course,
I'm kind of excited to show it. I mean, it's different from Home of Sound because Home of Sound is more
production. Yeah.
But I wanted to make a record box, and I did it just by myself, just like this. I was like, you know what? I would be happy to share my knowledge.
Very cool. How you
So-
organize for a set?
Yeah, how I organize for a set, mainly, and yeah, everything you can do on record box, which is a lot actually now, because I see kind of a lot of people still playing tunes, you know, not even one hot cue to start the track, you know, and for me it's like sometimes they play amazingly, most of the time they play amazingly, which means it doesn't mean anything, you know, you don't need the hot cues and stuff. But also sometimes it makes me think, if people want to get more into it, and yeah, I think I can share how I do it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting. One last question. Closing tradition. What question should we ask the next guest?
Yeah, I didn't think about this one. I forgot about this one. Wait a second. It depends. Who is it?
You will.
You can tell me.
I cannot tell you.
The question. But what did you ask me a question that the previous guest?
I can do that now if you want. I was gonna do that after.
Ah,
I can do
okay,
that
okay,
now
okay.
if you
No, no,
want
no.
some inspiration.
Well, how do you do it? That's the one.
Okay.
It's open to interpretation. I guess the music, the life.
Okay. How do you do it? Meaning, how do they do whatever they do
How
in
do you
life? How do you keep going?
How do you keep going?
Okay.
I guess. But it's a bit similar to what drives you, right?
Mm-hmm. Or like,
But it's more like,
how do
a
you?
balance kind of thing.
Perfect. I will ask
How
that.
do you stay sane?
Yeah. How do you say? Okay. How do you say sane? I love it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good one.
And there's a question for you, which is, if you can organize a dream lineup, you have 24 hours of music. Who would be the top artist you would put?
The top,
Yeah, I mean, who would you
How
put in
many?
the bill in that lineup?
it's too many people, no?
Mm-hmm.
But
Let's do 12 hours. So you have, I don't know, you can decide 6 slots, 4 slots, 3 slots, 2 slots.
it would be, for me, it would be hard to answer that because it would be probably, if it's 12 hours, you said?
Mm-hmm.
It would be a lot of people. Yeah, because I don't know if it would be, I don't know how many DJs it would be or how many bands or acts, you know?
Yeah. Would you rather have some more live acts, bands, or DJs only?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I would have a lot of live acts of 1 hour and then one DJ that plays like 4 hours
At the end.
that mixes all of their music,
Wow. Okay.
you know? No, but like, I don't know, like probably bands that I could never see, like probably Coil would be the headlining
Mm-hmm.
because I've been listening to them for 10 years. It's just keeps inspiring me. After I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah. Coil FX,
Yeah.
Swans, Sun.
So mainly bands, right? And then you have a closing
Well,
DJ.
because they inspire me. I mean, no, but because we have too many techno parties.
Yeah.
I can go and listen to them.
It's
So if
Berlin.
it would be a dream lineup, it has to be people that actually
Yeah.
are impossible or hard to get, right?
Yeah. Especially together.
And I'm sorry, but it's not techno DJs.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I would put people that inspire techno DJs.
Very interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of bands.
Yeah. I think that would be inspiring for me too, for a lot of people to go out of the ordinary, as you're saying, like to go out of the echo chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Atonal is good for that. The festival, you
Yeah.
know, like I mean, some editions were more closer to what I like to like to others, but yeah, it felt like that sometimes. It felt like listening to acts that sometimes were like kind of old acts that inspired a lot of producers
Of the
that
current
that
music.
inspired me. You know, so
Very
Yeah.
cool. So I look forward to you organizing a party with that lineup.
yeah, It's
Why
gonna
not?
It's gonna be complicated. Some are dead. So
You need to resuscitate them first and then bring them
Yeah.
back.
well, we need to make the music to resuscitate them,
Yeah.
like magic.
Or with AI, you do that, everything in AI.
Or like what they do concerts with holograms, right?
Yeah.
2-pack holograms. Yeah, it's a bit cringe though.
It
I
is,
don't
yeah.
know.
Seb, this has been great. Thank you so much for the interview.
Thanks, yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Good to have you, and I'll look forward to your sets in Berlin next.
Cheers, man. Yeah, Saturday,
Cheers.
2 a.m.
Saturday too, yeah.
Ciao.
Ciao.